One thing you may not know about Leanne, I got the privilege of being in her leadership Paulding class last year. It was 24, and you always have a project. Our project was out at Shepherd's Rest, just doing landscaping and work for a day, you know, some manual labor. And she and her husband worked nonstop all day, and I think they probably could have done it themselves. She's such a hard worker. So kudos to her.
I got to tell something on him too while we're on that topic. We went out to the sheriff's training facility and shot fully automatic weapons and stuff. It was a really cool day. But I saw this man take on one of our K-9 officers, and he did a mighty fine job holding his own with that dog on his arm. So I'll say when it comes to true grit, Dave Carmichael's got some true grit to even volunteer for that job.
You think those sleeves they put on your hand will prevent the teeth from coming through? Not true. The teeth will still come through. I'm honored to be here. I'm honored to serve with these gentlemen and with the state legislative branch delegation. So we hope we can always work together. I'm 2 years into this and still just learning an enormous amount. I don't know how much time we have.
Just take about 7 or 8 minutes.
Okay. You know, we weren't given a list of priorities from Chairman Austin or from the city manager, Mike Jones, or even from our honorable Sheriff Gary Gullidge. He's one that, you know, to tell us a lot of things, but he didn't give us a list of priorities. So these are my priorities, and if they line up with the other post commissioners here, you know, maybe we'll actually go through 2015 and try to adopt all of them together. Some of them we definitely will. But my first priority is our budget. You know, we got to realize that it's not our money as commissioners. It's your money. It is our family money because we pay the same kind of taxes that you all do. But the budget is a huge thing that happens every year, just like the state level. You know, a lot of what weighing and balancing what's really needed, what's not needed. And so that's the #1 priority to me, recognizing that it's your money. The second priority is the Richland Creek Reservoir, and really excited about that, to have an independent drinking water system right here in our county, and not to continue to pay Cobb County $1 million a month. The next thing is DOT, or our highway infrastructure. A lot of challenges at all levels, federal, state, and county on that one because the Transportation Act ran out, came to an end, and we still have a lot of roads and bridges out here that got to be taken care of. There have been a couple of things, options that I've heard about that I don't want to go into right now, but if we're going to talk about them later, they're not very appealing from a county level as to how to recoup that money that we're losing from the sunset of the Transportation Act. The next thing on my list, #4, is PUJ. Everybody knows that's the 3-letter identifier for the Paulding Northwest Atlanta Airport. And I'm very interested in that airport developing and succeeding and spreading our tax base for Paulding County, as I've seen it done in a lot of other counties, not just throughout the state, but throughout the nation, as aviation was my career. The State Patrol is relocating here in Paulding County. We're going to get that done with the water sewage building refurbished and remodeled to serve them. The Driver's License Bureau is going to be located around the Watson Complex. It will also include commercial driver's licenses. We'll probably have a course there, a training course and a testing course for 18-wheelers. And then the fire station out in Todd's area, Mulberry Rock Fire Station. That's really good. I have some other personal things that I'm interested in. I am interested in a no-kill policy for animal control. I'm a hunter, and you know, I eat a lot of meat. I'm not a vegetarian, but I think, you know, to kind of sum it up on animal control, if you aim at a 2-inch bullseye, you'll probably hit the target. If you just aim at the target, you'll miss the target. So if we had higher standards in animal control for what we're trying to achieve, and aim at the bullseye, you know, we're still going to kill some animals. They're vicious animals, they're very sick animals, and that's just going to happen. But if we adopt a no-kill policy, eventually I think it'll be all over Georgia. I've got 2 Labrador retrievers, and love them almost like my own kids. Well, that's about 3 or 4 minutes, right?
That's fine.
That's just priorities.
That's just more room for questions at the end.
I can talk 2 or 3 minutes about any of these priorities, but I'll sit down and let Tony give us his.
Number 2.
We're gonna
L, Post 2 Commissioner, and just had the privilege to be reelected and start my second term. Looking forward to these 4 years. Looking forward to working with these fellas here and the chairman over the next few years, and we've got a lot of work to do. I'll just bullet point off a couple things that Dave said because he mentioned quite a few. In our fire department, we're looking forward to building some what we call substations throughout the county that will fill in the gaps where we don't have a fire station close enough to somebody's home. Our goal is that we can do 2 or 3 substations for the price of what a bigger, fancier fire station would be. That way we can put them out there, and we don't have to fill them up with firefighters and raise our payroll to the top, but we put a couple guys in there, a couple girls in there, whatever it is, and they are the first responders to your home, but right behind them is the big firehouse down the road that's not close enough to your home. So we're looking forward to that. We've got the fire station that's planned out towards the airport. A lot of controversy with that. Not sure what's going to happen there. I feel like we're going to need to move on that firehouse out in that area, and it may be meaning move forward, but it may or may not happen up there at the airport. I don't know. But the citizens were promised in our splosh that we would have one out there along 278. So hopefully we can do that. We've also got the 911 center that we had budgeted to go out there at the airport. We're going to have to make some decisions on that because we really need to move forward with the 911 center, which will relieve our sheriff's department and give them more room there, which is what they also need. Heard a little bit about the training facility the sheriff's department has that we're building. We're moving forward with it, and that's going to be a nice thing. Dave mentioned the driver's license out at the Watson building, mentioned the Georgia State Patrol, where we've taken the water department, going to turn it into the Georgia State Patrol office. We're also going to be looking at building a water department and moving it back over there on Macklin Road where the old water department once was. We've purchased some land, right, Dave? Correct. Back in there. Done a few things there, so we're looking forward to that. That's something that's in the works. My post 2, actually is the only one without a big park. That the rest of them have parks: White Oak, Taylor Farm, Mount Tabor, and so on, Burnt Hickory. And so that park years ago was put off because Don Powell decided to put it off to allow the park, White Oak Park, to be purchased because of money. Post 2 would have had a park, but they said, hey, let's hold off on this. We've got the land. Let's don't spend the money building this. We've got an opportunity to build this. And that was a decision that they made when Jerry was the chairman, and that was the right decision made at that time to make sure that we were able to capture that. Happens to be the #1 used park in the county. Beautiful park. And so I'm looking forward to hopefully being able to move our park out in Post 2 forward and get that done. The airport naturally is also on my mind, and I think that we need to do some things to make it successful. I think we can, and everybody knows there's just one little piece of the pie that I'm not for, and that's because of the commitment and promises, and that's the commercial. The rest of the pie I want us to eat together, want us to work together and do what we need to do. I'd like to see us get through that so that we can move on to what we need to do and focus on doing things for the community, do what we need to do. If we can do that, then we can see economic development start coming back towards the county, because right now, with everything up in the air, people are looking at it and they're saying, don't know if we want to go there. And it's not just because of what people see on the board happening, it's because, you know, hey, are there elected leaders being true to the people? Do we want to get in there? What, you know, how we're going to work with these folks? It's everything. So I think looking forward to that, looking forward to working with these guys. I'm also looking forward to the budget, but I'm looking forward to working together on the budget. And what I'm looking forward to is I'd like to see us have some work sessions where we announce that we want to have a work session and we bring in some department heads. The Board of Commissioners can then be there together to work. There's any citizens that come in there to watch, that's just fine. That's what I think it needs to be done. That's where we're supposed to be doing our business. And then if we have any ideas that we want to put in outside of that work session, that's fine, but we need to work together to work on that budget. And I've always said that when you're around the table and everybody puts in their ideas, that you can come up, at the end of the day, you can come up with the best decision made for whatever it is you're dealing with. So I'm looking forward to the budget, but like you and I talked before, we really want to get together and work on the budget.
Right.
And Dave and I have talked about that. I'm also looking forward to working with Dave on animal control. Dave and I have worked on animal control, but we maybe haven't always had what we needed to move forward with some things that we would like to see. But I hope that working together that maybe we can get some things done in that direction. I think that'd be good for our community. Hopefully some other questions will come up. But I appreciate the opportunity to serve again very much.
I've actually been on the job 2 weeks, not like that, 2 years, okay? But it's been a good 2 weeks already. I'm looking forward to it. I think everybody up here is honorable. I'm going to look forward to serving with them. A lot of things I want to do. I'm not going to name them in order, but I'm just going to talk about. I do like the no-kill Paulding. I've seen enough research where I think you can save the county money. I had an opportunity a week ago to go on a cat rescue. It was very interesting. Had to do it at night. Just a strange event. But it didn't turn out the way we wanted it to. That cat actually had to be put down. It was kind of sad that happened, and I actually helped bury it. But, you know, for the most part, it's going to be something that really I think is going to be positive for the county, and it's going to actually help the county. Traffic is a problem in the county. There's a lot of things that need to be done with traffic. I've read several articles and seen some studies that talk about roundabouts. I've talked to Scott Green about the roundabouts. Roundabouts is something we need to look at and start looking at putting more of them in the county. They're more efficient than stop signs. They don't back up traffic. And in a lot of cases, they can be cheaper than putting in traffic lights. So that's something we need to look at doing. I'm all for the reservoir. I was for that 4 years ago, for it today. I think it's something we need. If we don't, we're going to be held captive to Cobb County. If we don't do it, I think that we'll see $150 water bills for a standard family in about 10 years. So that's something that needs to be worked on. But we need to make sure the reservoir is done properly. The money that's spent on it is spent correctly. Keep cost overruns down, and make sure that we're doing what should be done and do it correctly from the beginning. The Sheriff's Department. I think the Sheriff needs more money. I think we need to look at putting precincts through other part of the counties. This county is a huge county as far as land mass. And it's amazing that it hasn't been talked about yet that we don't have precincts in other places. I tell you what, if you can get the right place in Paulding County at 61 up by the Kroger, you can see 3 or 4 police cars lining up coming towards the sheriff's office or leaving, going down 61. And you say, well, there it is. I know it's shift change. Well, if I was a criminal, I would be aware of that. So we need to have more precincts in the county so we can spread it out. And they need to be operable. I've talked to Gary about it already too, and he wants precincts that are operable. And what he means by that is that the county can come in there. I think we've got one now that the county can't really, the citizens of the county, can't come in there and use it. So he wants it to be staffed where the citizens can use that. We don't have to ride all the way out to where the sheriff's department is now. The airport. You know, it seems like when you're against commercialization, everybody thinks you're anti-job. I just want everybody to know I'm not anti-job. I love jobs. I have talked to Brett Smith. I've met with him already. I've met with a couple of people on the airport authority, other people who are very pro-airport commercialization. And I asked them to paint me a picture of what they see the airport will be in 10 years. And I have not had one, including Brett Smith, that really talked about the commercialization that was mostly corporate-based. Well, I want y'all to know we can do corporate-based without the 139. So I want to go ahead and say, look, I'm all for the 139. I want those corporations coming here. I want to have them flying here, use the facility for their companies, hopefully attract businesses, and that's what I'm for. So it's the little small portion that Todd was talking about, the commercialization. I'm not for. Once we turn that over to NSA, good luck trying to get them out of here. If it's a failure, then we're going to have all kinds of problems and costs that we may have to take on, and I just don't think we need it. I asked Brett Smith personally if he thought someone from Gwinnett would come here to fly to Orlando, and he said, I do not think they would. Well, they would. They just go ahead and go to Atlanta. Don't think we can compete with Atlanta commercially, so that's why I'm not for the commercialization. Attracting business to the county is kind of a tricky thing. I hate to give away the farm to do it, and we need to try not to do that. We need to understand what we can attract. I had someone tell me a couple weeks ago that they'd like to see a Kia plant come to, something like a Kia plant come to the county. Let's be realistic, we're never going to get a Kia here in Paulding County. Paulding County is a unique county. It's a county that's just beautiful with rolling hills. That was one of my attractions to Paulding County. The bedroom community was an attraction to me to Paulding County. I knew when I moved here I was going to have to drive out of the county to work. But I like that. Every day I came home I saw deer, every single day, and I love that, okay? But to try to tell someone you're going to build a facility or a factory that's going to stretch over a half a mile, it's not going to happen in this county. It would cost $20 million just to prepare the land to do that. Why would someone come here and spend that kind of money when they can move to Macon and south of Macon and buy the land already flat? So we need to understand what we can attract to this county, and that's the business we can attract. Probably companies like Jamie did with Interro, you know, those companies that have 50, 75, 100 employees. But you know, that would be a good thing if we had a lot of smaller companies like that, I think, anyway. Instead of one big company that if they make a change in their business plan, half the county's out of work. So I'm looking forward to it. If you ever want to talk, I'm free, and I'll be glad to talk to anybody. Make a commitment that I'll try to get back to you within 24 hours. Sometimes it's hard to do. You know, this is not a full-time job for us guys, so I just want you to know that. Be patient with us, and we'll always talk to you. Thank you.
Every aspect of it almost, and Vernon told a lie. It is a full-time job. That's not true. And I'm not Jesus. People think I can work miracles, but I can't. But that was the first thing I noticed going in. A lot of people called on me to do various things that I would attempt to do and have attempted to do. And this week long, I met with several individuals, and some of them in planning and development. Took them up there and we talked about things. But in going into the arena, I had to ask myself, what am I doing? What am I really looking for? What do I want to do? Of course, all these things they touched on, just about, not all of it, but about 90% I do agree with and I'm on board with. Looking forward to working with them. I don't like public speaking. I learned that when I was about 19. I was in service and I was in a rate in the Navy that did not require speaking abilities. You just didn't. But we had a warrant officer that got us all together, and he wanted us to speak, and the trick was, he said, I want you to talk, I want to give you this subject, and I want you to talk about it for 5 minutes and never tell what the subject is at the end of the 5 minutes. That was impossible for me then and now. But when I come up to speak, I want to speak from my heart to you. And one of the reasons that I'm in office today, and I feel like from the depths of my heart to all of y'all, I don't care where you stand on what issue, I can even get along with Democrats most of the time. My dad was one. But I want to see the county united. I don't like seeing it divided. And the county for some time seems like we're divided in public in what we believe in whatever, and a lot of us are even afraid to tell what we believe. We have a fear factor. I want to see that removed. You know, this has never been addressed here that I know of. Maybe I want to stay away from it, but I'm not. Rhinos. Deception to the public is something that should not be ever. And if you will deceive people to tell them, I'm a true Republican, if you will deceive them to get in office, that's your beginning of deception. And you'll go from there. And when I talk to people, all they're wanting is a government that they can trust. That's all. And I would like to be part of that, along with these other guys, to give our county a government that they can trust. And if you were to ask me, Tony, have you ever told a lie? You bet I have, and you have too. But I'm not capable, if you look me in the eye, face to face, and ask me a question, I'm not capable of telling you a lie. I could tell a yarn, stretch it some. We've all done something. My wife asked me not too long ago, have you eat anything? Because I didn't eat supper. I lied and said, yeah, no, I didn't eat that. I did. I ate an ice cream on the way home. But I'm looking forward to uniting the county and the board. I'd like to see the board of commissioners united, strong, working together. Is that possible? I think it is. And so like I said, these guys touch just about everything, every issue in the county. I would like to say that I'd like to see the water reservoir move forward. And yesterday, in fact, day before yesterday, I was in the planning and development, and there was a guy that was front that's helping set up the water treatment plants and all the planning. He was there working on it. I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm working on this water reservoir for the county." And it excites me, and I'm looking forward to it. And the reason I'm looking forward to it, I'm not looking forward to all the money that's going into it. However, a lot of that money is not our money. It's money that we're getting from elsewhere. But I'm looking forward to seeing it go ahead because the voters voted for it. They asked for it. And I wasn't going to mention the airport at all, and I'll stay away from it pretty much. When you mention one, when the public mentions one, they mention the other. We voted no, and we voted yes. And so I'm looking forward to moving it along, seeing it happen. I think the problem with the water reservoir at the time, somebody failed to tell the public this is a long-term venture. This is not just going to happen in a year. And it's taken a long time, and a lot of it I don't understand, but it is what it is. And I appreciate y'all listening to me ramble along, and look forward to serving.